Our story begins with Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, serving from 1953 to 1961. Just 2 years into his presidency, in 1955, Eisenhower suffered a serious heart attack while playing golf. This occurrence marked a pivotal moment that introduced the world to the most significant obesity epidemic in history. During his golf game, President Eisenhower initially thought he was experiencing severe indigestion. However, as the day progressed, his symptoms worsened, leading to his hospitalization. At Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center in Aurora, Colorado, Eisenhower's indigestion was diagnosed as a heart attack. This news sent shockwaves through the nation, causing a $14 billion stock market drop. The worst single day decline since World War II. With the president away from the Oval Office for 10 days, questions arose about the increasing number of heart attacks among middle-aged American men, leaving the public desperate for answers. In the 1950s to 1960s, cigarette consumption peaked, especially among middle-aged men. Encouraged by societal norms, Eisenhower himself smoked up to 4 packs a day. Enter Ancel Keys, a University of Minnesota physiologist that claimed to have the answer. Keys believed there was a strong correlation between consuming saturated animal fat and the increasing occurrence of heart attacks. His diet heart hypothesis stated that saturated fat raised LDL cholesterol levels, leading to arterial plaque formation and heart disease. However, it is important to note that humans have been consuming saturated fat for as long as historical records exist, with ancient foods being a part of our diet. Despite this, Keys placed the blame on these traditional foods for the decline in modern health. Eisenhower personally adopted Keys' recommendations, and the notion that cholesterol was something to be avoided and would lead to death gained widespread acceptance in the United States and beyond. However, data has shown that raising LDL cholesterol levels through diet does not directly induce heart attacks or cause death. Ancel Keys eventually joined the American Heart Association board, and in 1961, the AHA advised Americans to reduce their consumption of saturated fat to prevent heart attacks. This marked the first mainstream endorsement of such advice, and the public took it seriously. In the 1950s, Americans obtained nearly half their calories from fat. Gradually, dietary trends shifted, replacing saturated fats with options like sugar and vegetable oils. These substitutes were marked as low-fat or fat-free, supported by extensive campaigns that persuaded consumers of their superior health benefits. Food companies also paid large sums of money to the American Heart Association to receive the Heart Healthy Checkoff designation, capitalizing on flawed science. We were warned about the dangers of saturated fats with the American Heart Association, the American College of Cardiology, and even the World Health Organization, advocating for a low-fat diet to prevent heart attacks. But did they truly have the evidence to back it up? The widely embraced diet heart hypothesis, also known as the lipid hypothesis, linked dietary cholesterol and saturated fat to heart disease. Led by Ancel Keys, it appeared to provide an explanation. However, upon a closer examination, cracks in the study supporting this hypothesis began to emerge. The selective 7 countries study conducted in the 1950s conveniently disregarded conflicting data and raised serious questions about its validity. It focused on only specific countries that supported the hypothesis, while excluding data from 15 countries that show no association between saturated fat consumption and heart mortality. For instance, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, with diets high in saturated fats, had relatively low heart attack rates, while Chile, with low saturated fat consumption, experienced a high cardiac mortality rate. A comprehensive examination would have acknowledged these discrepancies, but the complete data was not presented at the time. Surprisingly, studies like the Minnesota Coronary Experiment and the Sydney Diet Heart Study challenged the prevailing beliefs. They indicated that replacing saturated fats with vegetable oils did not provide the promised benefits. Additionally, the Women's Health Initiative conducted in the 1990s showed no significant reduction in mortality, heart attacks, strokes, or diabetes with low-fat diets. The focus on reducing saturated fats lacked strong scientific evidence. These findings challenged the diet heart hypothesis, as the heart-healthy eating pattern failed to influence future cardiac events positively. Moreover, it worsened diabetic control in women with type 2 diabetes. It's time to debunk the misconceptions surrounding fats and heart health. Let's discard the notion that meat, butter, cheese, or eggs are villains in our diet. There is simply no concrete evidence to support the claim that saturated fats alone trigger heart attacks. So how did we fall for the grand charade? Time magazine and countless others propagated the flawed narrative, while money quietly whispered its influence behind the scenes. It's a reminder that we must stay vigilant, questioning the forces that shape our beliefs and choices. It's time for a paradigm shift, embracing a fresh perspective rooted in evidence-based approaches. Let's celebrate the foods our ancestors thrived on for millions of years. It's time to free ourselves from ill-founded belief systems and reclaim a healthier, balanced lifestyle.